from the 1011 streaming studio, this is Star City Buzz.
Hi everyone, Bill Rentschler alongside Danielle Shenk in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Hope everyone is having a nice Friday. It's almost the weekend, Danielle. Some might say that it already is the weekend.
Friday.
It is Friday, which is very exciting.
Yes, and we just got a new computer, so if we have a few bumps and things throughout our show, bear with us. This is one of the first segments we're giving it a good old test run.
Yes, we are. Yesterday I'd still say it's a little bit of an ongoing calamity.
Yeah.
But we're able to do some of the very basic things at this point. So a little bit of a basic Star City Buzz today, and hopefully we get back to a little bit more of our more elaborate schemes.
Yeah.
In the very near future.
Yeah, but we're still, giving you the details on all of the events going on this weekend, and plenty of events as usual.
As usual, and we'll go ahead and we'll start off with the big one because it is homecoming weekend, Danielle. Again, all the sororities and fraternities going to be having all their homecoming dances and all the rest of it. Huskers will be back at home, again, hosting Rutgers tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock. Homecoming parade, I think, is tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have the homecoming king and queen, all the good stuff that's going to be happening.
Yeah, and I mean, they've been going all week. Monday kind of had the Husker Pantry Drive, doing some blood drives as well. Wednesday, Battle of the Bands, first time ever. I think we covered that as well. Thursday, the Cornchella tailgate. That's their theme this year, which I thought was super cute. And then Friday tonight, they're having a tailgate to beat Rutgers. Lawn display viewing. Cornstalk Festival is at 5. The homecoming parade is at 6. And then tomorrow, the big football game. Although It's kind of sad that there's no volleyball.
Well, it is sad. They play around the road. Was it last night?
Yeah.
They played Illinois and then I believe Iowa on Sunday. So they'll be at home just on Sunday.
Yeah.
So,
good win for them last night. Swept Illinois.
It was a good match there. Bergen Riley got to play with her sister again and beat her again.
Yeah,
like she did last year. So
little sis beating up on the big sis.
But again, this is the only, if I remember correctly, there are only 3 home games left, and this is the only home game for the entire month of October. Next week is a bye week, and then they're on the road at Indiana, and then on the road at Ohio State. So not much Husker football, at least here in Lincoln, over the next several weeks.
Yeah, but it's, as they kind of said, it's turned into a gauntlet. Rutgers undefeated, Indiana undefeated, Ohio State of course undefeated. So it would be nice if we can pick up another win before we head to Ohio State.
Yes. So, but again, homecoming and the football game, obviously in town, kind of grabs all the headlines as we look at the upcoming weekend. But plenty of other things, again, going on if you're not just interested in the football. So again, looking at some of the multi-day events, these are things that are going to be happening through the course of the weekend, Danielle.
Yes, so Apparition Lincoln, the Spook Easy that we've talked about.
Yes.
It's going on every day from 6 to 12. That's happening until November. And then over at the Sandhills Global Event Center, they've got a couple of shows. There's a horse show and then a dog show. And then Lincoln High School Theater is putting on the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Whenever I see the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, I always think of the Johnny Depp adaptation film. Which, again, is good, but I'm sure a lot of these other productions are probably even better than the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Other weekend, sort of multi-day through the weekend events, Matilda, the musical. This is going to be over at Nebraska Wesleyan on Friday and Saturday. This is going to be at 7:30, and then the matinee on Sunday is going to be at 2 o'clock. Rocascary Farms, or just Rocaberry Farms, either one, throughout the entire weekend. Again, Saturday, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but Saturday is going to be awfully warm. Sunday should be a little bit better, but again, Rocascary Farms opens at 5, and then that closes at 9:30, and again, you have to be 16. I've had to tell Jamie several times, you literally you cannot go. You have to be 16. Or have an adult 19 years or older to come to Rocascary Farms. We talked about it last week, Danielle, but Brews Keys happening again this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Nicole McClelland and Matthew Newmeyer, I'm going to go with Newmeyer, performing. Again, that's going to be Friday evening. And again, Saturday evening, that's going to be the Brewskis down in the Haymarket. And then something I know my mother is always a huge fan of, but that is the Parade of Homes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times my mother dragged us to go look at houses, and they're still living in the same house they were 30-odd years ago.
I mean, it's fun to kind of see, that's cool. Wish I had that in my house.
I like this layout. I like that there.
The new innovation. I wonder, when they finally rolled out the open concept with the kitchen and living room being all one big space, I bet that was mind-blowing the years ago that it happened. But another multi-day event that's actually happening through all of October is the Lincoln Vegan Chef Challenge. And so that's happening at various restaurants. Restaurants throughout the capital city are offering special vegan menu items for people to try.
Okay, there you go. So again, it could be probably a lot of people maybe trying that out for the first time. Mm-hmm. But I know they have some good dishes there, so that should be good. Yeah,
absolutely. Now moving on to Friday. Today
events only.
Weird to think that it's today when we usually do this show on Thursdays.
On Thursday, I know.
So it's like, got to wrap your brain around it. You're like, oh, okay. Yes, it is Friday this time. The Nebraska Hall of Fame induction ceremony is happening in the East Stadium Concourse. Yes, there's 6 people that are being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Jordan Hooper, women's basketball that you may recognize. Ndamukong Suh with football. Carl Meyerskoff, track and field. Virginia Stair, volleyball, back from 1980s. Mary Weatherholt, women's tennis. And Emily Wong for women's gymnastics. So that's happening at 3. And then the swimming and diving team is over at the Devaney Natorium at 4. The first Friday at the Great Plains Art Museum is happening at 5. And October 1st Friday at the Lux Center for Arts is also happening at 5.
5 to 8. Again, lots of Friday events, though, happening. We can continue to go down the list. Here and after, a collaborative work by Hannah Dema and Mattel I'm going to go with Rocky at the Turbine Flats Resonator Gallery, 5 to 8 p.m. this evening. There's a lot of words in there. I'm not sure how they kind of all fit together and what exactly it is you're necessarily going to be going to check out and see there, but it could be a good time.
Yeah,
Danielle.
There's quite a few galleries and art shows kind of happening, as we just talked about on the other page. And on the article that we have, we've laid out as many galleries and exhibitions that we can find, with museums and art displays. So hopefully, if you're one for the arts, hopefully we have the hookup for you with all the different exhibits that are happening.
We already kind of mentioned it, but the UNL Homecoming Parade and Cornstalk Festival, that's 14th and R Streets and Memorial Stadium. That's going to be from 5 to 8 p.m. tonight. Another art show, like you just mentioned, First Friday Art Market. This is going to be down at Tower Square. I can't think of the cross streets. I want to say like 13th and P?
Sure.
Is that close?
I, in my young years of being here for a year, I'll agree with you.
I want to say it's, Tower Square. Folks know where Tower Square is. But down there over at Tower Square, it should be a nice evening for it. Danielle, I'm going to let you take the next one because I know you're so excited.
Yes, I love spooky season, and the NeighborWorks Lincoln is having an outdoor movie night with Hocus Pocus. They'll even have some yard games set up at 6 so people can enjoy that before you crack out your lawn chair and or your blanket so you can watch the movie just after sunset, which is
right at 7.
7 or so.
It's like right at 7.
Yeah, bring your lawn chairs and blankets and watch Hocus Pocus. Get into the mood for spooky season.
Spooky season is Danielle's favorite season.
It's my favorite.
Also happening this evening, 7 p.m. down at the Rail Yard. Nebraska basketball is having their opening night. This is going to be men's and women's teams. Basically just, go down, hang out with the team. I'd imagine there's a little bit of a meet and greet. I think they might have a hoop that's going to be set up. There might be some
I'm sure.
Yeah. 3-point competition or something like that. But again, it should be a good time. And again, I know they very specifically said when they announced this event that it will not be rescheduled if there was bad weather. But the weather tonight, again, looks like it should be very nice.
Looking pretty good.
for that down in the rail yard. So that should be a good event down there tonight in the rail yard.
Yeah, they said, I think it's taking place on Canopy Street between R and Q Streets. So I think the space in front of PBA will be shut down.
Yep. So again, even if you're just trying to go down to the Haymarket for dinner or something this evening,
Keep that in mind.
keep that in mind. Also, down in the downtown area, over at Duffy's, from 7 to 11 this evening, Jigsaw Youth, and you're making me read all the hard names, Danielle.
It was
Jigsaw
my
Youth
plan.
and Yasmin Newer and Blind Searcher at Duffy's Tavern. So again, just a little concert there over at Duffy's. The Bourbon is always busy, Danielle. Again, Jeff Leeson is going to be at the Bourbon. The doors open at 7. The show's at 8. And then out of all the things that we put in our calendar, this one intrigues me the most, and that is a Glow Golf Scramble at Hero Stock from 8 to 10 p.m. this evening. I'm just a huge golfer in general, so I'm intrigued as to kind of what this event is going to look like, and I might have to pop down there after we put the kiddos to bed this evening.
Yeah, I think it's a fundraiser for Hero Stock 2025, and they say, it's actually their first ever Glow Golf tournament.
There we go.
So you could be a part of some history
Ooh.
if you go and
I can lose
partake.
golf balls in the dark.
In the dark.
Just like I can lose them when it's sunny
in the
outside.
lights. Hey, at least you would have an excuse. If it's dark, you're like, man, I couldn't see it even though it's glowing.
It's glowing. I should be able to see it. It's glowing. That's the whole point. And it's the terrible time of year for golfers because of the low sun angle and with some of the crispiness of the grass. There's glare off the grass, so it makes it really hard to find your golf ball sometimes. And then on top of that, the leaves have started to fall at least a little bit, so then you have leaves, and so it just...
Yeah, I mean, or if you're like me, you don't even see where your golf ball goes after you hit it, and you're like, hopefully someone else
You just
saw
drive.
that.
You just drive the cart. Drive the cart.
Drive the cart, have a good time. But hey,
yeah.
I've gone to what is it in Topgolf
Yeah, there you
in
go.
Omaha,
Topgolf is
slinging a
always fun.
few.
Yeah,
So
they have good food, good drinks there. We need to organize a station outing
yeah,
to do some Topgolf.
over at Topgolf.
That would be fun. All right, moving on to Saturday, Danielle. Again, obviously, you have to start your Saturday at the
At the
Haymarket
farmer's
Small
market.
8 to noon.
Yeah. Again, coming up on some of your last opportunities to get down to the Haymarket for that. Then at 8:30, the Capital City Marching Competition is happening over at Seacrest Field. I think that's also a fundraiser as well. Then from 9 to 3 is the Fall Craft and Vendor Fair over at Havelock United Methodist Church. And from 10 to 4, you can make some cards for World Card Making Day over at Picnic Hill Create. So
Halloween cards, Christmas cards,
yeah,
thank you cards,
there you go. Some birthday cards.
birthday cards.
Keep those on.
You could just get all your cards made for the whole year.
Exactly.
Just in one go.
Then they have a nice touch because they're all created by you.
That's true. They're personalized cards. At 11 a.m. over at Mana Games, you have the Mana Drag Brunch. I feel like this is something they do like once a month or something
Yeah.
like that. So there's always something going on over there at Mana Games. I'm interested in this one as well. Fall at the Mall Market. This is going to be over at Gateway Mall from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. So throughout most of the day on your Saturday, you could pop over there. Might also be a good activity because, again, as we'll talk about in a minute, it will be inside in the air
It'll
conditioning.
be feeling not like fall.
No, it will. It will not be. Again, if you're spending any amount of time outside, you want to probably stay hydrated, which you could probably do at Portoberfest over at Pour Craft Beer and Spirits. That starts at noon.
Yeah. So just like the other Oktoberfest that we've been seeing, but a nice little spin with the Portoberfest.
I like it.
But yeah, still with the German emphasis of food and drinks there. And then from 1 to 3, the garden party is happening at the Gear Library.
Always fun time at the Lincoln City Libraries. Then obviously, again, we already mentioned it at the top. 3 o'clock is kickoff for Nebraska versus Rutgers down at Memorial Stadium. Again, that game will be aired on FS1. So if you're not down there actually at the game or doing any tailgating, FS1 is the channel. I always have to tell my dad. It's on FS1, Dad. Yes, you have access to it, Dad. Yes, log into my YouTube TV.
There's so many options, with like, Big Ten Network, but that's different from Big Ten Plus. And then this, Man,
Well,
the
and
good
then
old
last
days
week
where
it
it
was
used to be
just
on
on Peacock. So you just it's always
the good
it's
old
always something.
days when it used to be on one channel always that you could rely on
That was
instead
nice.
of 5 different channels. But
That was nice. This one sounds fun, Danielle. Hay rides and s'mores.
yeah, if only it wasn't sold out.
Oh,
This one is also sold out, just
Dang
like
it.
the one over at James Arthur Vineyards that we'll be talking about on Sunday. Sold out for all of October because both of those must be a big hit. Obviously, it's a good time to get a little hayrack ride with the fam, some s'mores. I
Some
mean,
s'mores.
can't beat that on
You
a
can never turn-
spooky October
you
evening.
can never
Although,
turn down a good s'more.
if you're going on Saturday, you might rather have a popsicle or something.
That's true. That's true. But by 5 o'clock, again, which we'll talk about in just a second,
We keep alluding, so you should hopefully
cold-
know that it's going to be hot.
the cold front will arrive. So hopefully by 5, it's not quite as hot.
It's not as blah. You're not melting in that hayrack.
Your s'more is.
Your
but you're-
s'more is.
but you're
Your
not.
chocolate. Your hands are going to get yucky. And then Seven Dust is performing at the Bourbon Theater. Doors open at 5:30 and the show is at 6:30.
So it's Saturday.
That's Saturday.
That's a good Saturday.
That is a good Saturday. Even because most of our events end up happening on Friday because people want to steer clear of Saturday. But hey, spooky season's starting to make its way in and say, move over, football. It's time for some good old fun outdoors.
Well, just again, I mean, the Huskers were finally on the road, so that kind of opened up some things. But next week is just the bye week, so there's going to be weddings. There's
Yep.
there's going to be even more stuff next week. But jumping into Sunday here, Danielle, looking at our Sunday events. Early Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Start time, but goes till 3, is the Victress Competition 5.0. This is going to be over at Victress Lincoln. They have, what is it, 40 teams and 80 athletes across 4 divisions, and they're expecting a good turnout there.
Yeah, so those athletes are going to compete in about 4 or 5 events designed to test their cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, and mental toughness, is what the description says. And then there will be,
thinking about it.
and then there will be. This is like the hell on the hill that we saw. There'll be some surprise challenges and things like that. So,
and then from there, you could pop on over to another farmers market over at College View from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again. Just take in the farmers markets when you can because it's going to be cold and snowy before we know it.
Yeah, and then Walk to End Alzheimer's is happening at Haymarket Park. That's starting at 11. We had a story about this yesterday, so if you want some more details, that is on our website 1011now.com.
And then from noon to 4, you have family gathering market and kids fall fest. You keep doing this to me, Danielle. Canoyer Garden?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Canoyer Garden.
So, yep, this is a free event. You have a mix of vendors, some food trucks, music, yard games, all that good stuff. And then I think there's pumpkin painting, a scavenger hunt, and face painting for the Fall Fest.
Pumpkin, you should see my kitchen table. After the boys have already painted some pumpkins, and my kitchen table is
a mess.
So I would rather take them to an event like that, where they could make a mess, paint some pumpkins, and I don't have to clean it up after the fact. This one sounds like it's right up your alley.
Yes.
Cupcake and wine pairing over at Deer Springs Winery. 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon.
Perfect. What's better than a sweet and a nice little wine?
1 to 2, Walk to Remember. This is going to be over at the Lincoln Memorial Park. This is going to be for families who've had infants or babies through either miscarriage, stillbirth, or newborns that have passed away. So again, a solemn event there. And again, some
just remembrance, reflecting on all that.
Yeah.
With a community of people. And then also happening at 1 o'clock is the Head Start block party over at Community Action. And then 2 p.m., Nebraska Volleyball takes on the Iowa Hawkeyes over at Bob Devaney.
The Bob.
Yeah. We're playing Iowa a little early this year because I just remember last year when we won the Big Ten title, it was way a bit later in the year. Iowa, they're about 8-6 right now. I just looked at their record. I think they have a game tonight, though, against Washington. Is that correct?
We'll sweep them.
Yeah.
Get out the brooms.
Hey, I thought the same about UCLA and USC. We did do that for USC, but UCLA was a little bit closer than
when you give up a
wanted it to be.
10-0 run or whatever it was, you had like
Yeah.
that was nuts.
Not much you can do about that.
No. Rounding out our Sunday events, again, another event over at Kincaidor Brewing, their Summer Sunday live music series. They have Will Hutchinson. That's from 4 to 7. And again, you mentioned it or alluded to it about a haunted hayrack ride over at James Arthur Vineyards. That's from 6 to 8:30. Unfortunately, though, again, it is sold out for the entire month of October.
A pop-in event, kind of similar to, I'm sure, the light show that the Lincoln's Children's Zoo, puts on. That once tickets go on sale, you got to snatch them up.
You do. You really do. Yeah. Gosh, I'm trying to even think. What's the name of it?
I know. Why I can't? I mean, I haven't lived here my whole life, so
I can't even think of the name.
Wow.
I know.
Bad on
I'm
us.
sorry. I'm embarrassed.
I'm gonna Google it. That's why we have
do.
computers here. Lincoln Lights show. And people are probably, if they're watching this, they're screaming. They're like, "It's this!"
Because I have Brews at the Zoo and Boo at the Zoo stuck in my brain right now.
Zoo Lights.
Zoo Lights.
That's it. Zoo Lights powered by LES. Wow. Let's chalk it up to a full week, folks.
It's the computer problem.
It's the computer.
That's what
all our brain power has gone to messing with that.
That is true. All right, I've alluded to it several times, but your weekend forecast is really not all that October-like.
No, very roller coaster.
It is, and even the downs. I mean, our normal high temperature now is in the low 70s. I believe it's 73. So anything over 73 degrees, we're above average. We're above average today. It's still gonna be nice, but it's gonna be upper 70s, right around 80. Saturday, then the wind's gonna crank up. It's gonna be out of the south, gusting 30 to 40 miles an hour. So again, any outdoor events, especially maybe if you're heading down to Roca, it's probably gonna be a lot windier down there than it is gonna be here in town. My sister literally just called me in the last hour because she's setting up tents for their tailgate for the day tomorrow.
Yeah.
And she wanted to know what the wind was going to be doing.
Well, something else to think about with that wind is just how dry our conditions are. Harvest season, so your car is going to get pretty dirty if you're traveling on I-80 to get to Lincoln for the game.
It's going to drive through plumes of dust and all that. So mid-90s, the all-time record high temperature in October is 98, and that actually did happen on October 5th. So we're going to be close to not only a daily record with a forecast high of 95, but also an all-time October high record temperature. There will be a cold front that moves through in the afternoon, so a lot will depend on the timing of that front. If that front does move through a little bit earlier, it's not going to be quite as bad. But then behind that front, we will be, again, cooler, but still above average for the day on Sunday, but it still should be a nice day with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Mostly sunny skies, no rain expected tonight or through the weekend, so no issues there. And again, if you're heading to Memorial Stadium for the game, especially if you're going to be in the sun, it's going to be hot. It's going to be even hotter in the stadium. You want to make sure you mix in some liquids, some water.
Yeah, I mean, beer isn't going to be sold there just yet, but it was approved.
It was approved.
Earlier today. The Regents voted to approve it. I think the vote was 7-1. I think that's how it came out, but either way, it passed.
It did.
So there will soon be alcoholic beverages at Bob Devaney and Memorial Stadium. I think that starts next fall.
Yes,
then.
It'll be for the next fall sports season.
But hey, at least if there's a little bit of a breeze,
it's going to feel more like a furnace, like a
so no help. Got it.
Yeah, and I mean, in the stadium, it will be swirling. Outside of the stadium, obviously a southerly breeze. Once that front moves through, it'll swing around to the north, and again, usually, sometimes, especially in the fall, sometimes once the front moves through, you can really feel it. Cool down. I'm not so sure you're necessarily really going to feel it cool down because you're going to go from the mid 90s still down into the
still hot.
Yeah. So, but anyways, plan accordingly.
Yeah. Not so another summer-like game for the Huskers.
If you would have said what's going to be the hottest Husker home game of the year this year, I probably would have said August 31st.
Yeah.
The first game of the season. Psych. No. October 5th.
Wrong.
It's going to be in the mid-90s. So, yeah, that's fun. Carmelo was on a search for the hottest ever Husker October game yesterday. I don't know if you ever actually found
what that was.
Finished that search. We'll have to follow up and bring people that information.
Yeah, I can't remember if Brandon ended up telling me that yesterday either. Somewhere in the hundreds, I'm sure.
In October? No. We're talking
October. Sorry,
October.
not the full season. Got it.
Because he asked me
Sorry.
if there's a way to look it up, and I said, yeah, you have to go look up every single season, all the October home games, and then you have to go look at the weather data, look up that specific, and so it's like there's no easy way to do it. And you have lots of years of Husker home games. So
lots of numbers to crunch.
There are lots of numbers to crunch. So, okay. All right, Danielle, that's another Star City Buzz for us in the books.
In the books. And we managed to get through it without any computer problems that we know of.
So far as we know.
So far, so good. We haven't been able to stream yet. We're still working on that. So obviously this is recorded.
Well, we are live on our YouTube channel, but we're not able to stream
on
our 1011 platforms just yet.
But yeah, covered all the events once again, and all of those details on like tickets, if you need to get tickets for something or where something's at. All of those details, of course, are in the Star City Buzz article that we have worked so hard to put together. And I told Bill when we were having our computer installation problems, I was like, I do not care. We are doing a Star City Buzz to some capacity because we did not go to all this work for nothing.
And this is our something. So we appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. As always, again, for all the information that Danielle just said, you can find that article on 1011now.com. You'll also find it linked in the YouTube description of this video. So appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. As always, hope everyone has a nice Friday and a nice weekend.
You've been listening to 1011 Star City Buzz. Watch, listen, stream on the 1011 Now app on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.